gals are having a wonderful day. If nobody tells you service of the year, so it's time to get that word, trying to get filled with the word and everything like that. Like I said, church, the people represent the church, and Christ loved the church so much that He died for it. So we need to get together. We need to speak about the gospel. We need to speak about the good word and things like that. Obviously, we have our own personal relationship with the Lord, but also we need to speak about how awesome and how great He is, even through troubling times, and how we're supposed to cry and also find refuge. That's very, very important. So, God bless you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Take It Home podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics, and I put up my matches as classic out for a professional wrestler of 13 years. I got all my matches from 2025 for the most part available to watch, comment, and subscribe to. So make sure you look at that. Also subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. We have all of our matches from this year and previous years as well. We're getting ready for February 21st, 2026. It's big business. That's in Dyer, Indiana. Harold's private venue. Tickets are on sale now on Eventbrite. They're $5 off, but they'll be $5 more at the door. Bars. I spoke about stuff that happened this year, 2025. We only got 3 days left. So I wanted to speak about, like, what do I expect, or what do I plan to do in 2026? Well, first and foremost, I do plan to still serve the Lord, still give honor to Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, of course, but honestly serve. I do plan to serve more, to help the community, to try to bring the community back, try to promote more family-friendly business and entertainment, stuff like that. What's going on, Inya? What's going on? I hope everything is going well with you. I do plan to serve the community. I've continued to do it yearly, but I kind of want to do more and things like that. I think that the village mindset is what actually helped me become a product of my environment in a positive way and stuff like that. When I grew up, I had uncles, I had people that looked out for each other. People look out for the block of kids and stuff to make sure that nobody was messing with us or trying to do anything and stuff like that. I want that kind of mentality to come back as far as a person, right? And even as a wrestler and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that take advantage of people that we do need to out, and we do need to confront and take care of those kind of things as well. But with wrestling, I do want to show that wrestling is easy to attend. I know a lot of people, if they don't know about independent wrestling, especially with the internet, then us as promoters, we're not doing that great of a job of promoting. If all they know is the wrestling that's on TV, then that meant that I needed to, as a promoter, make sure people know who I am and what content and what product C3 Ultimate Wrestling provides, right? What's going on? What's going on? Appreciate it. I've always been a community person, right? I ain't gonna say I agree with everything that people do as far as helping the community, but at the same time, it's just sitting here. I don't want to go on a tangent, but sitting here waiting for other people who probably don't even live in the area to try to help. Sometimes that just doesn't happen. And I understand some people aren't able, they aren't willing, they don't have the necessities to do certain things and stuff like that, whether disability, children, job, busy. Job is a big ailment sometimes. It's a blessing to provide and stuff, but still you can't do a lot of the things you want, especially because you have to provide for yourself. And if you got kids, you got a wife, whatever, definitely a big thing. So my thing is this: the good Lord has given me strength in my body, breath in my body, and stuff like that. Sometimes you just got to do things on your own, and will that cost? Yes. Will that take time? Yes. Will things go your way sometimes? Yes and no. But it's just one of those things that you just have to press forward to. So, but with wrestling, just continuing to grow C3. C3, especially in Harold's private venue, we are continuing to grow. Our audience is massive. Almost every show we've had to pull out chairs, and that's something that I really love and I really appreciate, because people want to see great wrestling at a great price, right? So that's one of those things I definitely love that we do and that we are able to do. A lot of people, they come in, some people have shirts, somebody had sign. It was a crazy sign. I don't want to say what the sign said, but still, C3 is just a big thing. I know a lot of my colleagues and a lot of my friends and stuff like that, they're asking to be booked there. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the wrestlers that are there too. Uh, Most of everybody that's on C3 that you see currently are the core of C3. So if you see a C3 show, they're most likely going to be there in some kind of capacity. But it's been a great thing. So I do plan to continue to grow C3. I do want to go to a big venue eventually, but I love what we're doing at Harold's private venue. Shout out to Miss Kelly and everything she continues to do. She has our back. She looks out for us as far as a professional wrestling company, and she likes what we do. We do good business. We're about to do big business February 21st, 2025. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big thing in like 2026. I want to make sure that people look at this stuff and they see that C3 is different from everybody else. I want people to be like, oh, okay, well, these guys, they not playing over here. Let me see what's going on with them. We don't do shows every month. We do shows like every 3 to 4 months. So that gives people time to like look at stuff and also catch up on stories and things that are going on, right? So that's also a very important factor as far as wrestling is concerned. So I am grateful for not only just, the fans, but also the wrestlers that make it happen. And I'm thankful for the staff who help serve food, sell tickets and stuff. Shout out to my wife. Big blessing on that. So I plan to do that. Now, as far as wrestling for me, as Classic Alpha, right? I just need to take care of myself, body-wise. I'm going to practice and I do work out, but I don't work out other areas. I like doing arms sometimes. I do a couple legs, whatever. But I gotta work out on this core, man. I gotta work out on this core. I'm trying to be buff, but I keep thinking about the buffet. I just keep thinking about the buffet, and it's just like, trying to do a sit-up but think of a push-up pop. It's very difficult, right? It's just very, very difficult. And to me, that's just something. I just gotta make sure that my mind is more disciplined. I'm proud of myself because I've drunk more water this year. I've had a lot of pop, not even gonna lie, but I'm trying to cut back on pop. I really am. But it's different. Almost every time I want to cut out on pop, a new Mountain Dew flavor come out. And I love some Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew come out and stuff like that. I want to take care of myself, trying to take care of my body, not only just for wrestling, but just physically. I keep saying I'm old, and I keep saying that's going to be my mindset on doing anything. Getting out of bed, working out, running and stuff like that. It's just a mindset thing. Like, I feel like I can do anything I want to, but if I continue to say I'm not going to do this or I'm tired and stuff like that, that becomes my clothing. That's like what I'm wearing. I'm wearing doubt and stuff like that, and I don't want to wear it on my jacket. I don't want that on me at all. You get what I'm saying? What's going on, Alex? But still, definitely trying to work out more. Going to practice. I've been going to practice for the past few months. I'm proud of myself on that. Like I said, I'm proud of myself, but I can do a lot better. As far as wrestling, I do want to wrestle at least once a month. That's been my regimen. You guys know that since I've been speaking about it. Unfortunately, this year I did not wrestle once. I didn't wrestle every month. I think every 2 months maybe. Like, stuff happens, Like I said, I was at one spot and then I wasn't at that spot no more. And then other stuff, some people don't have shows every month, and then some people don't have room for me. They don't have room for Classic Alpha. And, that happens. As a promoter, I try to be careful with how I see things from my eyes and then also as a person, right? So sometimes I have a lot of stuff that's going on with the company. I have a lot of stuff that's going on with the company, and sometimes I can't book everybody that I want to. So, Robert Brown, Rent Syndicate, what's going on? What's going on, Miles? What's going on, Miles? Nah, I just started. I was just speaking about like what plans I have in 2026. So basically, I was like, one, serve the Lord, also serve the community, continue to push C3 as a product that people need to see, and then take care of myself physically as well. Glad you're here. And then talking about wrestling for me, I want to take care of myself more outside of the working out thing, but also I do want to take more bookings. So I want to wrestle in Texas so bad. I'm from Texas, if you guys don't know, and there's so much history in Texas, and I want to be a part of that history about wrestling in the state of Texas. It'll be definitely dope. Hopefully that goes through. I'll just start trying to open up a network. I'm also starting to rent my ring out because me and my wife, we own a wrestling ring. So we are renting out. So shout out to Fab Wrestling, who has rented it from us twice, and then other businesses, they're reaching out to us too. So that's more money, not only just for my family, but also C3, which is a great thing as well. Trying to do things right, trying to invest in a trailer and then eventually a building, trying to take care of a whole bunch of stuff, wrestling wise or whatever like that. The Take It Home podcast, what I want to do is I want to continue to enlighten people with wrestling from a wrestler and a booker and a promoter standpoint, right? I do want to go back doing lives at the crib. Y'all know, sitting in the crib talking and stuff like that, so I got to go back to the subscription services and stuff. I want to do that stuff because I have slides. I want to speak about certain things too. I want to do this, the car lives, blessing, a big blessing to me, because I've wanted to consistently go live, and I told myself and I told the audience, you guys, that I was going to go live more often. And there was one point I was going live every day. I kind of slowed down near the Q4 of this year, but still I am grateful for what we continue to do. But I do want to do more lives. I do want to probably interview people, probably talk to people and things like that. I've done things with Arshawn and Yellow. Shout out to Krypton Drinking and Shooting from the Script. We spoke about certain things. We spoke about a lot of things, and there's more things in the future that we will definitely talk about. We talked about Cream rises to the top. There's other things that Arshawn has a great mind for the business. So shout out to Arshawn, because Arshawn and Kev, they do a great job with even they're part of the business now. I know that sometimes they don't like to hear that, but they are part of the business. But they respect it so much that they're not trying to disrespect it and stuff like that. The editing that they do, it's second to none. No diss to no company or whatever, but what we have at C3 with the fight centers and stuff like that, you're not going to see that nowhere else. You're not going to see that nowhere else. I know AI and editing is a big thing now, but the fact that the craft is so perfected from both of these guys, Kev, the voice of Ultimate Wrestling, how it's just magic. You're not going to see that nowhere else. So I'm happy for that, because I'm happy for the future of what C3 holds, because even the staff is improving everything and things like that. And I don't even call them staff like that. I really call them family. We may not see each other, talk to each other, whatever, and we may live different parts of the globe in the United States, but still, how we just get together and just make magic. I'm just truly grateful for that. Spicy Guac, what's going on, Joe? Keep pushing at it. The universe provides a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate that. And I've also been very humble when it comes to the wrestling thing. I'm not going to sit here saying I know everything with wrestling, but I know a lot. And like I said, the village mentality will have you believing and have you knowing that how you carry yourself, you do represent the village. Now, I do know that individualism is very, very big when it comes to certain things, but sometimes you do represent a community, especially if you say you are a part of that community. So you got to know when to switch off, and you got to know when to switch on and stuff like that. And to me, there's a lot of people that I respect in this business. I may not talk to them every day, we may not even be cool, but I do respect the knowledge that they gave me, because that helped me develop the knowledge to give to you guys. Because I've spoke about talking to vets and being under a learning tree and hearing them instead of trying to talk back saying, well, I don't like this because of A, B, C, D. Like I said, I've fallen out with some people, but I still respect what they have done and what they have given. And I'm still cool with some of them. Some people are very, very awesome. So that's what I'm just trying to do. I know some people will sell the information that I'm telling you guys because they are trying to make money. And I'm not mad at that. But at the same time, I don't mind helping an upcoming wrestler, somebody that wants to get into business with certain things, as long as they respect the business. That's fair. Can't be friends with everyone. But you can always, yeah, they just take the experience. Sometimes it's just a learning experience. And I think that that's also another thing I'm going to take within 2026, learning stuff. And sometimes learning stuff is not the best. It doesn't feel the best. Let me say it like that. Sometimes your feelings is going to get hurt. Sometimes you're going to be disappointed. Sometimes you're going to feel like you went through a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're going to feel like, man, I gave my all to this company and they don't even care, or they don't see what I see. They don't see the vision. And a learning experience can be very, very painful. And I continue and I encourage, just like Spicy has just spoke, like just continue to keep pushing forward, man. It's just one of those things, sometimes it's just like you give people the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes you don't put all your eggs in one basket. And even though something happens, you still get disappointed. It can still hurt. You can still feel betrayed and things like that. I've definitely felt that this year. And like I said, I do pray for the people. I wish them the best. I have no ill will towards them. I don't wish nothing bad. I don't wish I hope you learn a lesson. That's God's decision. That's not mine at the end of the day. God has the final say. And it's like I said, I don't want to mess up my opportunities and blessings by looking at what God gonna do for others or do to others when I need to worry about what he gonna do to me. You know what I'm saying? So very important. So that's also a thing. Just to continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to network. A lot of people are starting to know that me and my wife run C3. When we first started C3, only a few people knew, the people that we booked and people that we plan to book. But some people, they ask, hey, do you run C3? And some people ask, what I got to do to wrestle there and stuff like that, because they want to wrestle for opportunity. They want an opportunity to wrestle somewhere different, and people want to wrestle every week or whatever like that. So, like I said, it's a lot of debuts that's going to happen. I think every show we've had a debut since we started C3. I think that we're going to try to keep that tradition going. I think it's going to be so awesome to see somebody fresh every time. It's definitely going to be a good thing. So, still, agreed. I'm always thankful for every match, conversation, and inclusion in and out the moment. All I can do is be better. Yeah, and I think that's the mentality that a lot of people should definitely have. Me with it, as everybody sees how John Cena sees it. Like, I want to leave it better than when I came into it. So I want to give back. I also want to show you guys, no shade to people who do podcasts, who do dirt sheets and reporters and journalists and stuff like that. But some of the wrestlers will be like, why don't you get in the ring and do it? Now, you do have some that actually got in the ring and they're pretty good. Some are not so good. But me, as a wrestler of 13 years, and a promoter and a booker, I try to use my knowledge and expertise to my advantage to show you guys, hey, I'm talking about the stuff. Not only am I talking about the stuff, I'm doing the stuff that I'm talking about. If I'm sitting here saying, oh, well, this match wasn't good because of A, B, C, D, I'm not going out there wrestling doing what I said I didn't like at another match. I'm not just saying stuff to say stuff. And sometimes people get lost in that sauce because it's so easy to try to get something. Like I said, when I do this podcast, I want to be very honest about certain things, right? I want to be honest about if I like this or I didn't like that. What I don't want to do is, I don't want to just say, I hate this company and blah, 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 just to get thousands of views. I don't even like the clickbait stuff, right? So those are the things that are very, very important to me as well, is to make sure being honest with my content. And I've said it even as a wrestler, if I don't like doing it anymore, I'm not doing it. And to me, if I don't feel like, if I want to make content, there's times where I really wanted to make content, but I didn't know what to speak about. So I wanted them not speaking about nothing because I didn't want to just say something to say something. I wanted to be authentic. I wanted to be real and things like that. The YouTube shorts, the jokes and stuff like that. I might do that, or I may clip up some of the matches that I have and I'll put it online. But other than that, if there's nothing to speak about, I'm not going to try to force myself to speak about it. And even as a wrestler and a promoter, I try to be respectful to people, even if they aren't wrestlers who leave comments. And like I said, a lot of people have great knowledge and expertise. And most of all, they have respect to the business, to the fact that they're not going to say something that's going to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And if they do, then we got the Wrench Syndicate. We got Arshawn. We got Yellow. We got Robert Brown. Like we got some people that'll clear your body if you're not addressing respectfully. Now, there's one thing if you disagree with my take. It's another when you become disrespectful. It's definitely a difference and stuff like that. I remember when I spoke about The Undertaker, how Undertaker's one of my favorite wrestlers, and I felt like he was moving foul against his homie Matt when they moved the podcast to WWE, and I'm like, oh, well, it's The Undertaker. Nobody's going to care about Matt. That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, this guy talked to Undertaker about creating this podcast. The podcast started getting steam, and WWE and Fanatics and them, they was like, nah, we want to do it. And then Undertaker was like, all right, fine, we'll do it. That's the thing. Oh, well, we're going to do it this way. We're not going to use you anymore. That was the thing. But the thing was, people was like, oh, because it's the Undertaker. Obviously, we know that the Undertaker was the driving force in the podcast. But still, it's hard being both the wrestler sometimes and do a podcast and being able to talk about the experience freeform. Yeah, I know that some guys that are in the business that have podcasts, and sometimes they don't say everything they want to because they don't want to come off as difficult. I want to say a better word. It's not coming to me right now. Complaining, ungrateful. They don't want to come off as a certain thing because sometimes, you know, you'll just be honest. Oh, I don't like this because of this and that. And somebody say you're a brat. You always go on to social media. You always want to politic and say something. You're just always disrespectful. And I respect that. Me, if I don't like something, I'm going to say it though. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it is what it is. You know, if it's a beef that I have, which I don't, I have beef with nobody. People got beef with me. Ain't that crazy? People beef with me. I ain't got no beef with nobody. People telling me about how some people feel like I can't put on good matches. Some people like, oh, well, I'm not a good promoter to work for. Like, this is another thing that I learned in 2025. Like, don't get me wrong. I know that people say bad things about people regardless. But, hey, I was like, what I do to y'all? I ain't do nothing to nobody. All I did was just keep my mouth shut. Well, let me stop. I didn't keep my mouth shut. I'm talking now. All I did was mind my business. And my name still gets thrown in people's hats. Like, what did I do? But it is what it is. You just keep moving, you keep promoting, you keep pushing. And it's very, very important as a wrestler. And then even as a man. Like, I know a lot of people be talking about, oh, no, don't talk about gender roles. But nah, man, as a man, we got to move with more logic than emotion. You know, everything's not meant to be posted about. Everything's not meant to be lashed out on. Sometimes you do have to, I don't want to say internalize, but you just got to keep it moving. And that's just one of those things that we're supposed to do. You know, I got 2 boys, right? So it's just like they're looking at what I do and how I carry things. So I have to set that example for them. And even wrestlers that are coming after me, or even the ones that are before me, maybe they'll look at how I act and stuff like that and carry themselves. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've made mistakes. I've apologized to people. I've talked to people before and be like, okay, well, this is how I felt about the situation. Those kind of things happen. You know, just continue to grow. I haven't met anyone outlandishly disrespectful yet. Keyboard warriors. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if I wasn't a wrestler, I'd still be like very respectful to the game. Like, if I'm speaking about a movie, I may not like the movie, but I'm not going to technically disrespect the actor, especially if they are a seasoned vet or whatever. That's just how I am. You know, I do try to respect people's craft because of what we do. It's a craft. It's an art. It's something special. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely try to be respectful. Now, I have plenty of great experience in C3. All the thank you. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be interesting, bro. But yeah, man, just continuing to grow. Like I said, working out more, eating better, dieting better, put my name out more for wrestling opportunities and stuff like that, for bookings and stuff like that. Just continuing to grow C3, put more money in the pocket before it's like ring rental and stuff like that. And I also want to try to do a little bit more with my children and my family. I do a lot, but I feel like I can always like do more. I like staying home, and honestly, when I even mean that, I mean like watching TV and stuff like that, and talking to them and stuff like that, and reading the word. Just want to do more of that. Like sometimes, you know, as a parent, sometimes we be like, we do a lot, but we still want to do more. We still want to do more. We can do more, and I know we can. So my kids can be good. So I did want to speak about that for a little bit, about what the future holds for 2026, and we just want to continue to grow. Shout out to you, Joey. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to Enya. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to everybody that says some. Robert Brown in the building. Ring Syndicate. I am around the corner from church, so I'm going to enjoy the word. I do hope you guys and gals have a great day. This is Chris Classic.
Let's take it home.
Thank you, Cameron.